On to some Nerd News Network.
Yes. Nerdy news.
All of the Nerd News Network under my new filing system is in the same file, so I have to scroll down to the correct episode to get the nerdy news for the week. Special on Disney Plus is coming today as you guys are listening to this. It might already be out. Go watch it after you finish this. Called Master and Apprentice.
Yeah, this is like come out of nowhere.
Which is coming 2 days after that shocking end to Ahsoka, which we spoke about earlier, but we won't say anything now, just in case you skipped that bit to avoid spoilers. But if you've watched this week's episode of Ahsoka, you probably know what that's about. It's probably worth going to watch it. I'm sure we'll both watch it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be discussed when Hori's back from his holiday.
It will.
But maybe go have a look. I know I will be. I'm probably watching it right now as you guys are listening to this. How weird is that?
No, you'll be at work. Oh, no, you're not at work.
No, I'll be streaming.
Yeah.
Doing my not a job. I take longer lunch breaks while I'm getting paid. And this was almost an entire segment by itself, and it might still be eventually, but not enough information's come out yet. So, there have been a number of news articles who I assume have all been holding the trigger on this, waiting for the first person to pull it, about how a PR firm has been manipulating Rotten Tomatoes scores by paying critics for favourable reviews.
Is anyone shocked?
Well, yes and no. So here's the thing. Rotten Tomatoes have actually been very good at stopping this shit normally. Here's the problem. Once you rate enough stuff and like your reviews aren't like, I don't want to say outlandish because it shouldn't be, you only get treated with respect as a reviewer by following the crowd. But as long as you're like not doing anything weird and like your reviews are like good reviews that make sense and they can hear them, after you do enough, you can get certified as a proper reviewer on there.
Yeah.
So what this then means is people can become like me and you if we wanted to sit down and catch up on every film we'd watched.
Yeah.
Or if we wanted to create a cutscene account and we would sit down and we would do them together, we could probably eventually become seated as a critic on there, which is obviously one of the two scores.
Yep.
Now, the problem is, because of the way this system works, less than reputable people have been able to create these accounts, and then a PR firm who has worked with a couple of different production companies has gone to these critics and paid them anywhere between $50 and $100 per review to boost scores, with one film getting boosted from 86% to 62%.
Do you mean that they were wrong?
Sorry, from 46% to 62%.
Oh, shit. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. That's a fucking problem. Because whether like you like the website or not, and I know people have their issues with it, which is completely fine, Rotten Tomatoes is seen as a genuine metric. I know a lot of people who are, if they're on the fence path, they want to see something, will go, I'm on the fence to this, but the audience scores like 95%. Clearly it's fun. Or I want to go see something, but that just seems like a dumb action film. Oh, the critic reviews are quite high. Apparently it has quite a lot of heart to it. I'll go see it. And it's a fucking problem. Like, it's huge. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes have claimed they've already discovered a lot of them and been able to rectify them, and they've banned the accounts responsible. But
doesn't stop
the real question is, what are they going to do to stop it happening again? That is the exact problem. It's like, yeah, cool. You've worked it out. You've undone the harm.
The issue is the harm has been done, and it's like the perception now, as this comes out, the perception is going to be going forward that, oh, people get paid for reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
You just know with the way Twitter is, if there is a film that someone hates that's got like 92% on critics, they'll be like, well, who spent all the marketing budget on critic reviews?
Yeah.
Which is just bad for discourse in general about what's going on in different filming franchises. But it also means, like I said, you can't trust the reviews anymore. Well, so are we just supposed to trust the audience review now? Which isn't foolproof because stuff gets review bombed all the time.
This is the we being into video games a lot, like we know this happens with certain video game review we won't go into, but they are definitely very much persuaded by studios to give better reviews than, and people like don't respect those sites anymore. Like they'll look at their reviews, but they always take them with a pinch of salt because they know, oh, they were probably like paid by the studio. That's going to happen now with this.
You can look. Do you know what I use them reviews for? Which I like. You can be pretty confident are paid for. I look at them to go, okay, what are the selling points that the person, like the company, wants us to focus on? What do they think the best bits of their game are? But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think, although, like I said, Rotten Tomatoes isn't perfect, it has been a very good metric. And one of the only places where you can see both critics and audience scores right next to each other.
Yep.
And now you can't trust either. Review bombing on the fan side has got worse over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now the critic scores, apparently, they can be bought and paid for. It's not ideal.
No, it's not. And once again, it's studios doing unfavorable things because we know it's the studios that are hiring these PR firms. Yeah,
they're hiring the PR firms. It's not the PR firm not doing it off their own back.
So.
And it sucks because like we've used Rotten Tomato scores before. Like when the critic scores come in before we've been able to go see the film yet because they're not properly out yet. And we're like, oh, that looks great. That's really high. And then we go and we're disappointed and we're like, but you said was good. Now are we just disconnected from what the critics are looking for? Or were they paid to write that?
Probably paid.
We don't even get paid to give our opinion as it is.
Yo, Warner Brothers, if you want to pay, I will say only good things about DC.
And Disney, if you want to pay, I'll say only bad things about DC. And there you go, chat. We are fair and balanced once again. Imagine me just catching checks for slandering them and you catching checks for defending them. Conor and Hori seem to be arguing a lot this week.
Hori's really gone off Marvel and is really on the DC boat now.
I could have sworn Conor said he preferred DC comics that long ago. More just people with too much money being scumbags. Dozens of past and present Disney execs believe Bob Iger is just trying to last long enough as Disney CEO to sell to Apple. Now, we discussed this not that long ago.
We did.
How there was a rumor about that. And we sat here and we went, how? In a world where the drama around can Microsoft buy Activision is still ongoing, can Apple, one of $2 trillion companies, be allowed to buy a company that has so much media market share that, in all honesty, it probably shouldn't have been able to buy Fox, let alone be sold to a company that already has a better media market share.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, wake the fuck up. We have made, like, how many video games, how many films, how many books, how many TV shows have been made about dystopian futures where there's like 3 mega corporations that run the universe?
Yep.
If we as the people of the world let Disney, as it is currently, not broken down, even though breaking it down would still be terrifying, as it is, get sold to Apple, free thought is gone.
Yeah. Our world's slowly turning into 4 corporations.
Yeah.
Amazon,
Microsoft,
Apple and
Tencent.
Oh, I was going to say like Elon Musk.
No, Elon Musk will get assassinated.
Jeez. No, I think he's going to try and build like some megacorp through Twitter. Oh, sorry, through X.
Yeah, he absolutely wants to. Yeah. No, it's Twitter. Don't give him any respect by calling it X. When he can learn to respect trans people's pronouns, we will call his website what he wants it to be called.
It's called now. Because did you see about him trying to take the Twitter sign down at the office?
No.
So this is a sidetrack, but scummy CEOs. I can't remember which. I think it might have been the San Francisco office. He wanted to take the Twitter sign down, obviously, because it's changed its name, and it's on like the corner of the building. He just got like a scissor lift guy and someone but then obviously like a crowd started forming because people were like, what the fuck?
Going on?
Yeah. Police ended up having to come because it was causing a disruption. And it turns out like they didn't have the right like bits of paperwork to be allowed to be on the street side with a scissor lift and take. So they'd got off like Twit on one side and then it got shut down and they haven't been back. So one side of the corner says Twitter, the other side just says
Twitter.
So it's just like, what have you done to Twitter?
But yeah, I don't understand how.
With this Disney thing, also to point out, like, this is Disney execs. This isn't just staff members saying this.
This is people who are privy to that kind of information.
Yeah. And it makes sense as to why, like, Bob Iger was going to quit, and then, oh, no, he hasn't. And then he's come back, and he said he's leaving, but no, he's like...
And just so, like, for the people who might not be aware or understand, as a general rule of thumb, a CEO who oversees a big merger gets a fuck ton of money. Yeah.
Because they essentially, like, their percentage... the way mergers, or, like, if they sell to a company, it's usually because they're selling a majority share, which means everyone's shares get... either a chunk of their shares get taken off them, and things are diluted down, and essentially they lose a portion, and they do that by like, Apple's giving you this chunk of money for your your little bit of percentage. So it's like, him being the CEO, like he's gonna make bank.
A lot of his bonus and stuff will be paid as shares. So what his job will be Apple will come in, and what they'll do is, say Disney's trading at $92 a share right now. I don't know what it is. It's somewhere around there normally. And Apple go, we will give you $100 a share. Or they might even lowball them slightly because it's a lump sum all right now guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they say $80 a share. What he'll then do is present it to the shareholders who have voting rights, because they're the only ones that actually matter. And they will vote on whether they think that money is good enough. If they say yes, they then agree to go through all that paperwork and merge companies, and then they get paid that money from Apple. Because Apple is essentially buying their shares, but instead of buying them individually, which would be a hostile takeover, doing it secretly under the table, they are making them an offer as a collective and going, you will get $80 for every share you own. And Dick Cheney, I don't know why I said Dick Cheney because that's a real person. I doubt he has shares in Disney. Dick, someone down the road, who's been given 100,000 shares from when it was 1 cent a share back in 1933, is going to go fucking sweet, and they're going to get 10,000 times $80.
Yeah.
Probably even more, and they're going to fucking laugh all the way to the bank. And Bob Iger, like I said, he'll have shares as a result of that, but he'll also get a bonus because there's basically in every CEO contract they get a bonus written in for overseeing big business, and that's big business.
Yeah,
it's the same reason Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision, another scummy CEO. Are we seeing a trend? He's basically he needs to leave Activision. He's a piece of shit. He shouldn't even still be there. He got permission to stay as the CEO until this Microsoft acquisition was done, at which point he would leave. He would get paid out the rest of his contract. He's going to earn, just from his contract being bought out for getting the shares he probably has, $200 million. He should be in prison.
That's the things as well people need to know is like the CEOs stay in for the purchase knowing that they're not going to have, like, it's very rare that a CEO is ever kept on after a merger because the new company wants to put in their own leadership and management to run it. Most CEOs know this. And what often happens is they're essentially made redundant and given a fat lump sum and said, cheers for that, cheers for the company, here's your money, see you later. And the CEO goes, thanks, now I'm going to just go retire.
We've been saying every week for fuck knows how long now about how Bob Iger's being a scumbag over people who are struggling to feed themselves. Well, he earns $26.5 billion a year. If this merger was to go through, he'd probably get paid off like $250 million in one go, if not more.
The only... The thing at the moment with the strikes is it's probably hurting those chances of it getting sold.
Because I don't think it's physically possible. Surely the FCC and the European Commission and every commission on planet Earth goes, you're fucking not.
You would think so. But I know Apple would try and spin it as, well, we're only in the phone and iPad market. Apple TV is like a drop. We don't have that much media influence.
Honestly, if Apple TV randomly gets announced it's being discontinued, that's when I'll get worried.
Yeah, fair.
Because that will be the first sign that they're going, we need to step out of this market.
Yeah.
So, because if that company exists in that market, okay, this is fine. But it can't happen without Disney selling Marvel and selling Star Wars at least.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If Apple shuts down Apple TV, or like we can see their kind of like shows are getting cancelled and like winding down for some reason, and then suddenly Disney's selling off chunks of stuff that Disney owns, like rights, something's going on.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the problem. A lot of fans of franchises owned by Disney want them to sell. So they're like, oh, I wish Marvel would get sold by Disney. Marvel would be so much better without Disney. They don't understand the characters. And Star Wars fans have been the loudest for decades now. Oh, taking back Star Wars before Disney. So if Disney announce we sold Star Wars, fans are going to be like, yeah, not realizing how bad this could be in the grand scheme of the world.
Well, yeah.
Yes, you might be happy that your little space show's better. Guess what? You're going to be too busy working in Apple's mines looking for cobalt for their new iPhone 37.
Star Wars is just going to become a infomercial for how we're going to be living.
Yeah. Or you had fuckers complaining about the bricks in Andor. Wait until you see a motherfucker with an iPhone in Star Wars, yeah? I see now. Not that I care that much.
Not that we have an issue with any CEO.
It's terrifying how much shady business gets done and people don't notice, and they're just like, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure that's not a problem.
This is the world that we live in, unfortunately.